Good evening, ladies and gents. It's Harlequin D here with another YouTube video. And you can see here that the Apocalypse Guild raid is in full swing. It's been great fun. It's really ramping up in difficulty now. It's fantastic for kind of guild communication. It's everything I like about a community game like Tyrant Unleashed. Really good fun, but it has brought one thing home. And if you are looking for a sort of action video like some of my previous ones, you're looking in the wrong place, because this video is going to be about how to do some personal simming. It's not going to be advanced. There's lots of different advanced sims you can do. We do full guild deck sims with sort of different structures to find out what works best. We do inter-guild wars to see deck progression and stuff. This is just about how to sim for yourself, and I'm going to keep it simple and use a lot of the sort of GUI that comes with the sim, just to let you know how you can do a quick sim, quick reorder, a quick climb to see what is best to use. So I'm going to have a brawl video coming out soon, I think, from the last brawl, so that's where the action is. This video is just going to be a quick video about how to do simming, starting from scratch, as if you don't even have it downloaded yet. So it's going to be boring for some, but hopefully useful for others. I certainly need it in the Bears Guild because there's a few people that are having trouble kind of working it out, and hopefully this will make it a bit easier. So you can see that I've knocked up a quick VM virtual machine just so that we can kind of play in here, and I don't give away sort of the inner workings of my main computer, so we can sort of do what we want here. We'll be doing all the stuff in this virtual machine. So let's just go full screen for a minute. I'm going to be doing this from scratch. I'm doing it off the cuff. I haven't got anything written down, so it may take a few attempts. I'll probably make some typos, whatever. But simming and the use of the optimizer. So to sim something, what you're doing is loading it with a deck, and the deck that you're going to face, putting some flags in, some sort of selections about whether you're surging or whether there's a fortress in play, and then you're throwing thousands of wars at it, and that can either be in the order of the two decks or it can be a random order, and you're just simulating thousands and thousands and thousands of attacks to see how that attacking deck does against the defense deck. And that's what simming is. And then you can get some more advanced stuff like reordering, so it will use the information as it's rolling those attacks to work out the best order to play the cards in. Or you can do a climb, and that's a little bit more advanced, but we will go through it because it's really important for this raid, because it is so tough at the higher levels for all of the decks. And the climb will look through your sideboard and work out the best cards that you should be using in any given situation that you set up. The optimizer has been taken over, or taken back I should say, for those that play War Metal Tyrant. You'll know the name. Andor9 has taken the optimizer back since Zach kind of quit the optimizer development. Andor9 was actually around before Zach. He branched off from the original code that was developed. I forget who it was by, I could probably find out. Voxnav I think it was. Andor9 took it, made it into War Metal Tyrant, and Zach sort of picked that sim up and made it for TU. Zach quit, and Andor9 thankfully has stepped back into the spotlight and taken it back for TU, which is fantastic news. Andor9 is a great guy. He's got a really good head on him, and kind of responds to PMs, and it's just fantastic really. So Andor9 is the developer at the moment, the main lead developer or contributor for the Tyrant Unleashed optimizer, and this is the link that you want to go to the release area. I will put these links in the comments under the YouTube video, and you want to pick up the newest sim. It will be a download, and you're going to download it to your computer, and you're going to extract it, and that's what we're going to be using. The other link that you're going to need to know, if you're doing it manually, I mean, we're going to do a bit of the GUI, the graphical user interface, but the other link that's going to be useful is the original help file from Zach. It was really nicely laid out. I'm sure Andor9, hint hint, will catch up with it at some point, but at the moment his development and merging of all the different forks and whatnot is much more important than documentation. But we'll be using this as well. It kind of goes through some of the things you can do. Don't be scared. It's got everything in there. We're not going to be using everything. So we're going to go ahead, download the actual sim itself. Comes down as a zip file, which we're going to unzip. Show in folder, and we'll just do everything that we need to do in the downloads folder. We don't need to go anywhere else in a virtual machine, so we can pretty much do whatever we want. Once you've downloaded it, you're just going to extract it. Yeah, that's fine. And this is the sort of information that you've got. This is what you need. I am actually going to come up one here, delete my zip file off just to keep things clean. I'm going to rename this just to make it a bit easier. TU optimize. You don't need to do that, but I'm just going to do it. So we've got two ways of using the sim. The simple TU optimizer starter, which is actually what we are going to use for the main, and then the one that I actually use, which is the main.exe, which you use in command prompt. Basically, you've just got a bit more control over it. The optimizer is going to be fine for what we need to begin with. So let's get in game for a minute, and here's my normal PvP deck. It does pretty well. It ranks very highly in the inter-guild war that we run, just to see deck progression, how things are going overall. It came 79th in the last brawl, as you may have seen in the last video, which is not bad at all for a free-to-play. You can see that I have made one major change to the deck. I've got Nexor in place, because in PvP that does even better by about 4% on the top tier, which is great. So this is the deck that we're going to be using, because this is my strongest deck, or so I think, against the raid. Okay, we've got 4 hours. This film is not going to be 4 hours long. So get back to my deck. There you go. And we're going to go ahead and open the GUI, the simple TU optimizer or optimized starter, and we get this little window here. Let's get rid of all this. Don't need this up here anymore. Probably don't need that for now, because this is dead simple. So what we've got here is a selection of different things. You put your deck in the top, you name your fortresses in the middle, you say your enemy deck or mission or whatever it is you're fighting, enemy fortresses if necessary, choose an effect, put your mode on, which is in our case PvP. You could use raid, which will give you the average raid damage that you're doing over time. You can do a guild war, so that you're surging, which is playing sort of second. Your order, and whether you want to do these things, as I spoke about earlier, climb, sim or reorder. We'll go through each and just show you, and then any additional flags that you want to set as per the help file, but we'll keep things simple to begin with. We'll come back to these, but there are additional things you can do. Update the XMLs, which brings in the sort of cards and the missions, so that you can update when new cards are released. Owned cards. Can't find an owned cards file. Do you want to create one? Not at the moment. But this is an area for you to place your sideboard for use with the climbs, and custom decks. Again, nothing in there at the moment. That's for you to be able to define custom decks. So if you're running a guild war or something like that, or you're doing it for a friend, you can define their deck and just use their deck. So we don't want to create a new one at the moment. Like I said, I'm going to keep it simple. So what we need to do now is pretty much in my deck, for a moment, type in each of the cards that we want to use. Now if you have Nexor at level 4, you would do it like that. Nexor at level 3, if it's max, it's just Nexor. So hopefully that's simple enough, and we're just going to go through. Now my normal play order is, what is my normal play order? It's something around kind of demi up front. I mean, I manually play, so it's kind of difficult, but it's something like this. Constrictor. Double check that you're spelling it right. Constrictor. Probably, what would we most like to see next? Probably one of them. Let's have that next. That looks strong. Sanctuary. And then we'd want our Zillianail out. We know that because the Zillianail is just frankly awesome and terrifying. Zillianail. Yep, nice. What would we like then? More jam. We need some jams on the field, don't we? Let's get the auger out. Do we want a quick card yet, or should we have the Taz? Well, by now our Demi's probably taken some damage. Let's play the Taz. Tazarus. What haven't we had? Okay. Now obviously if I'm going against Righteous, that's going to come out, but that's manual. You know, what we're doing is a computerized sim. A human being is always going to play better because they can react to what's in front of them, but it gives us an indication, and that's all we're after at the moment, is an indication of what's going on. Purifier. There you go. So how many cards we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Who have we lost? Who have we missed? Ah, the Arc Nova Elite, of course. We want that, so that's coming out first. 3, 2, 1. So we're going to want it probably either here, here, or here. Let's shove him there. Arc Nova Elite. There you go. Right, fortresses. We are in a raid. This is a optimizer specifically for raids, but obviously if you're optimizing for the new event level boss, the alpha, you wouldn't have fortresses in there. If you're optimizing for a mission, you wouldn't have fortresses in there. We do have fortresses in place, so we want to put our fortresses in, and important you get them in the right way, because our corrosive spore means that the enfeeble 3 goes down before the strike 6 from the lightning cannon. So just do put them in the right order, because the sim, I believe, will pick that up. Comma separated, just like your cards were. And again, you can do the if you're in a guild that's kind of a bit low on diamonds and you're running sort of a level 2, you can just do that and it will pick that up. Enemy decks, so we are raiding. We're against Apocalypse. Apocalypse. And we're on level 11 at the moment. So, oh, I really did spell it as ellipse. Yes. So let's not go for level 11. Let's kind of show something a little bit more interesting against my deck. Let's go for a level 18. Okay, so really ramping up the difficulty. The enemy doesn't have any fortresses. There's no effect on. We're just going to go PvP at the moment. We could go raid, but we'll just keep it to PvP. We're interested in the win percent at the moment, not damage over time. We're not going to play it ordered, although there are so many permutations of this raid. There's like, if I remember correctly, a random 10 cards drawn from a pool of 12, or there's going to be 4 duplicates of those cards at some point, and then you get upgrade points which can be sprinkled randomly over the cards that have been drawn, so every fight is different, and the permutations to this is many to the power of many, which for those that are good at maths is lots, I think. So just be aware that ordered, yeah, it's going to give you an order. Don't trust it. Play it manually. At these sort of levels, play it manually. React to what's in front of you. But we need some sort of indication of what we're doing. So for the moment, we're going to do a sim. And we're going to ramp this up. I mean, when you're doing this, 500,000 iterations minimum. I'm going to go for 200,000 so it doesn't take too long. Because I'm on a virtual machine, so and I think very many resources. But there you go. No flags. This is how many fights you're going to do. As a simulation, so it's going to play it in exactly this order. It's just going to simulate me playing this order against whatever comes out of here. It does build in the 3-card hand, so it's going to play as close to that order as possible, but of course your draw hand might be Taz, Sin, Purifier, in which case it will try and play the Taz first. So there's that. Let's just simulate and see what happens. So you get this little box that pops up, and wow, that was quick. Okay, 200,000 runs, win percentage 22%. There you go. So we've passed it in this sort of stuff. This is what the GUI is creating, is the command that it needs to run. It's my deck, the enemy's deck, level 18. Yeah, that is good. So 22%. 22% is pretty low for a level 18. You know, I don't mean to be smug, but as a free-to-play player, and I do grind a lot, I would hope to have a little bit more higher percentage than that. So let's see if we can improve that. So we've run a sim, and we've got a 22% win rate. So any key to continue. What we're going to do now is we're going to reorder it. So we're going to tell the simulator, these are the cards that you're using. Reorder them to the best order that you think against this raid. Now it's indicative only. You're always going to be playing a better order, but it will give you an idea of what might work a bit more often as a theme. So we'll just click that reorder there and we'll simulate again. Now it's going to run through and it's going to throw 200,000 iterations at it, and then it's going to try and move a card and see if that does better. If it does, it's going to allow it, then run it again and again and again and again. You can see the percentage going up here. So I think we're on 22%. Now we're on 25 because you can see that it's working out that there's a slightly better order, 27. 30. So this is great. This is exactly what we want to see. This is a more true indication. It's not exact because a human is always going to play it better, and because there are so many permutations to this boss, and because I'm only running it as 200,000 iterations, not 500,000 or more. But we are getting a true indication of deck strength at this point, 37%. And I mean, the jump from 22% to 37% is humongous. 41. There you go. So optimized deck is now not this order. Doesn't think this order is brilliant. The Zillanel, the Ream, the Nova, the Sin, the Taz, the Sanctuary, the Purifier, and stick the Demi-Constrictor last for this level only. No, not this level. For this level only. That would have been much more powerful if I'd actually pointed the wrong thing, but hey ho. For level 18, this is what it says. If I ran it for level 19, it would probably come up with a different order. And would definitely come up with a different percentage because level 19 is quite a lot harder. So that's how you're using the reorder to order best deck. So what we want to do now is talk about the climb, because that's where the real power comes in, and that's what people should be doing for this raid, because the results are very surprising. They were to me anyway. So as I said, this is my powerful deck. This, is what I would take into war against the unknown. I trust this deck. I like it. It's not the best deck though. Hopefully we'll get the result that we're looking for in this example on level 18. I know we do on level 20, so if it doesn't work I'll just jump to 20. But what we're going to do now is we're going to use owncards.txt. We are going to say create a new file. Yes. So we now have a blank notepad, own cards. It's been created in the correct place for it. And what I need to do here is put in all the cards that I want it to take into account when it's simming. So first off, we do start with obviously our deck. We don't want comma separated here, we just want carriage returns. So, it takes a little bit of fiddling. This bit takes the time, but this is where the real power comes in. So it is really worth doing. Okay, have some background music. Me humming, hopefully YouTube won't pick that up and remove all the audio. Anyway, so this is the deck that we've got, but we do have other cards that are, they're a bit out of the meta. Not as great for PvP. Maybe they're a bit longer in CD, or they've just been obsoleted by one of these cards. So we're going to throw all of those in as well. There's not that many because I've been quite careful about how I spend my SP. But let's have a quick look through. So I know that I could build a fighter jet. I've got a fighter jet. I could build the quad of that, and I could put that in there to see if I want to spend SP on it. I'm not going to play that sort of game, but you can put different cards in to see what the next card you should build should be. I am digressing slightly because we're interested in raids, but that's how I use the optimizer all the time. Still Maiden, you're going in. You're a quad card. You're not too shabby, just a bit long in the tooth. You're definitely going in the Trampling Anvil. Yes. Trampling Anvil. We'll see if it likes it. What else can we put in? Put the Pantheon. No, isn't it a dual card? Not really interested in that. So I think the only other thing that I want to put in is my previous commander, Barracus. There you go. So now we've said you're going to start with this deck, and you're going to use these cards as well when you factor in what's good and what's bad, and you're going to sim from there. What you can do is reduce the size of this deck a little bit. So I could remove those cards, and it will allow the sort of pathing to work a bit better, rather than being constrained very much to a deck type that's like this. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Just going to go in with a Demi, a Sanctuary, a Zillanel, and an Augurim. I've got my own cards saved. Level 18, same fortresses, PvP, no effect, but we're going to climb. We're going to stick with ordered, but climb. 200,000. Let's see what happens now. So it starts off, you can see it's just got those cards that I gave it, but then it's using the sideboard, and it's already picked that Barracus is a step change in ability of this deck. So it's put Barracus in, and it's going through and simming again and throwing the iterations through to see what else to add in. To 19 up to 24, and we're going to let this run. But you can see that you put basically all your cards in, and if you're looking for what to build next, include what it is that you'd end up with, and run multiple sims to see what has the most effect on your deck. 37, 38. Okay, so we're now getting up. We've got the Steel Maiden come back in. I saw the Trampling Anvil flash in and then out, and it will be doing that as it looks at cards. 42, 45. So we've now got a 49% chance against level 18. There you go. 49% chance, and it wants the Steel Maiden in there. So that's pretty cool. I'm actually surprised it brought the Steel Maiden in, but that's the sort of surprise. Then Barracus is the big surprise, because that's been a theme that comes out as you face high decks. Just Barracus is doing better and better. I think it's the Enfeeble, because they're not packing a lot of evade. So we now have a 49% chance. And if we want to show that, with even more absolute certainty, let's just undo the fact that we did those. Let's take us up to level 20, and we'll do a reorder. So what is the best order for my normal deck, the Nexor deck, against level 20? And 20 is getting pretty difficult at the moment. Okay, simulate. It's got a lot more to think about the stronger the level, but it is well worth doing. So there you go, the optimized decks come in 24.2. Let's run a climb. So now we're going to do, that was 24.2, we're now going to do a climb, so we're going to use these cards and see the difference. Oh, there is one card I meant to bring in. Cancel! Because this was the real surprise when I did it. I forgot to include it because it's such a card that I just forget about. But of course, in my real owned cards, I have pretty much everything that could be of any use at all. The Unholy Demon. Let's bring that puppy in as well. Okay, run a climb. That's a bit of a spoiler there. I wish I'd kind of remembered that the first time around. It would have been more of an impact. There's the Unholy Demon, 32.8. What a big change, 24 to 32.8. That's a massive difference in ability on level 20 of this raid. So it just goes to show how vitally important it is that you get used to simming and you get used to doing that very quickly. Now, I don't use the GUI, but I've just shown you how really simple it is to download, get running, and get up and working. And I've been rambling, and it's taken maybe 20 minutes. You can do this in 5. And to run a new sim should be taking you 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I use the command line. If people want to know how to use the command line, do let me know, and I will produce a very quick video, 15 minutes, to show you how to do the command line as well. It's pretty much the same idea, it's just that you're typing in manually, get a bit more control over it that way. But this GUI will serve you absolutely well. It's so simple to set up. Go and do it. Don't keep wasting your energy when you could be doing an extra 10% of a win rate. So guys, that was a bit of an impromptu video. I did mean to release the Brawl video, my last 23 hits to get to rank 79. I'll put that up sometime over the weekend instead. This was needed as people are facing the raid. So I hope it was useful. If it was, you know the drill. Click that like button, make a comment in the forum post, give me a bump, pass it to your friends, they probably need it. And this is Harlequin D signing out.